Step back to give up the giving up itself. Disengage on its own, ceasing on its own. This is not moving forward with significance and meanings within the path to the enlightenment. That is the mutai that overlaying. It's not about anything within anything. To be obsessed with that, then it's the opposite. Step back with everything from itself. Constantly remind oneself, constantly discard the discarding itself, seize the seizing itself. All that single-mindedness is not yet discarding itself. Therefore, we have to cover everything, discard the discarding itself. No grasping is on its own. It will discard the single-mindedness, stillness, indifference, meditative power, contemplation. All the overlaying of the grasping mind will be released. There is no need to practice for the path to enlightenment in whatever ways. Use the essence of non-grasping on its own, disengaging on its own. No grasping for the non-grasping itself. All the chunk of the stillness and indifference. This is like karma. It will be released. The releasing doesn't grasp for itself, it discards itself. All the causes and effects are from the grasping minds. Deludedly practice. This is the effect of the samudaya. The causes of suffering, and the result is the suffering. The result of the samudaya is the suffering. Therefore, let's dissolve the reminders. Let's use the sentence that purifies itself, with everything discarding on its own, non-grasping is on its own, giving up on its own. Use these reminders that purify themselves. It will be accordingly. To stay in the stillness and indifference, one will be sunken for a long time. All the rejection that has been in the past deludedly or hated, it will come back in the opposite way. It will pay back the karma on the other side. One will just have the projection to grasp for it. All the prayer to project has a strength with all the meditative powers, concentration, contemplation. It's difficult to stop it. Whether it's about anything, even the Nibbana, it will go further than Nibbana, further and further. The projection will be off-sided more and more. Therefore, there must be declaration of renunciation from all the meditative power, contemplation and insights, because there is really intensive in all that curses. It's like curses oneself because suffering is proceeding. Step back to disengage from itself, not to proceed forward. Step back to disengage on its own without grasping for the present itself. The present doesn't grasp for itself. How can we proceed forward? Falling forward like that. Step back to not grasping on its own. Flowers discard the blossoming states, ending the ending itself. No flaw. Step back to disengage on its own with everything. Step back to not grasping on its own. Flowers blossoming and discard itself through liberation without grasping for the liberation. The grasping that is accompanied, it creates stuckness. Therefore, everyone, whether in non-human beings, must listen, because the karmic difficulties pushing oneself into difficulties further and further. Nothing is there. Not having, even the not having itself. not grasping even for the non-grasping itself, nothing is left. No more realms of existence that is left over. No more entanglements, no more fixation in that kind of delusion will not be left. Just use the reminder of this essence, no grasping on its own. Disengage even from disengagement itself. This is liberation without grasping for itself. True liberation is like this. Use the reminders that purify themselves constantly. Don't think that stillness, silence is the stillness, is the extinction. That's not it. It's like discrete. Therefore, there must be a stimulation, so that there must be a release, a discarding on its own. The present doesn't grasp for itself. This is not to proceed forward, aiming forward. The path to the enlightenment of this world is proceeding forward, is aiming forward. Nibbana is not even Nibbana. Emptiness is not even emptiness. Where are you aiming for? The path to the enlightenment of all of you are aiming for where is it? You are following your own prayers that accompany yourself to aim forward in such a way towards realm of existence, on and on. Just like those who are walking towards something that doesn't exist. The searching is projected, but the object of the search doesn't exist. Therefore, the searches continue onwards. Therefore, we have to step back, disengage on its own, end all searches. In someone who is searching or someone who is reaching, step back to seize the seizing itself, disengage on its own, end all searches, end all the one who is searching, seize the seizing itself. This is derived from all the belief values, all the mind that is projecting with the obligation for Nibbana in certain ways. This is one's own opinions and follow one's own belief values on and on. It becomes karmic difficulties. This is from the projection to grasp. Who is it teaching you towards all Dhamma that is anicca and anatta is not something to be attached to? How can we project for that? Once there is delusion for all that projection to grasp, it creates difficulties to move forward endlessly. Therefore, declare removal of all the projection to grasp for anything within the practice, within the mind, all that perseverance. The perseverance is used for blessing beings, not to grasp for attainment, to help end for samsara and all beings, not to grasp for anything. That is just a compromise only there. Perseverance to bless, to give ending for beings, not to grasp for anything. It is anicca and anatta in this perseverance and efforts itself. It is unable to attach to, even with this perseverance. It is anicca and anatta in itself. The perseverance is not something to be attached to. All that formed up with the great compassion to help end for samsara, it doesn't grasp for this form up itself. This is helping through ending, not grasping for the ending. This is perseverance that doesn't grasp for itself. Therefore, there is no damage, no pitfalls. With the grace of the Triple just think of them. Don't ask for anything, don't beg for anything, because you are grasping for something that is not about grasping. When you beg for, it become delusion, that delusive attachment that is impressed within the mind. Just think of the Buddhas and the Arahants only. Think of the words of the Buddhas, of all the non-attachments, of all the truth that is concluded within the non-attachment totally. All the giving from the Buddhas is all of the non-attachment. That is the grace of the triple gem. Is derived from there. How can you use anything else apart from the grace of the triple gem? If you use fixation with them, towards that which has no fixation, karma will bounce back to you immediately. Just respect the triple gems, bow down, and that's it. There is no need to babbling so much, to beg for, to take refuge for. This is karma. The triple gems is right from the non-attachment. If you attach to it, is not going to be triple gem. Therefore, the beings should not use attachment with the grace of the triple gem. So each sentence is to be used moderately. If they assumed up, it's gonna be a delusion or not. If it's grasping for, to taking a refuge with them, that is grasping. It's like releasing from one point to fixate on another side. That is more karma, because it's creating fixation towards something that is not gross anymore. Fixation to the Buddhas and Arahants, there is a lot of bounce back with karma, because this will across eons of time. It's impossible to liberate accordingly, because you will just take a refuge with them endlessly. You have to step back with ceasing on its own until everything is bygone, whether it's respect or be humble with them. It's enough. It's more than enough already to be aligned. Just non-attachment to non-attachments thoroughly. Otherwise, the karmic bounce back will be across lifetime to pay back. Just like those who are around the Buddha footprints still always touch on the surface, always taking refuge. Therefore, declare renunciation in the vocation, because it's already more than enough to just pay respect. Just non-attachment to non-attachment altogether. That's enough. Purify through the extinction altogether. No fixation to no fixation altogether. This is the same essence. Purify through the extinction and the emptiness. Faith is too much. Humility is already too much, because it's fabricated with manners. We use fabrication towards that which has no fabrication. Karma will bounce back to oneself for eons of time with the grace of the triple gems. It will be like this. Let's dissect this. Let's purify it. Samsara is crystallized with this issue for so long already. All this Buddhang Saranang Kachami is already crystallized for so long in this samsara. You see, no liberation happens. Just continue further and further, relating Buddhas in the way with involvement. They are from the non-attachment. They are from non-attachment, even towards the non-attachment itself. We have to use the same essence with them, with the grace of the triple gem. Then it will not be distorted from all the essence that they have. With everything, non-attachment is on its own. Make a conclusion in this way. With everything, everything is non-attachment on its own. Use this reminder. It will be the purification of the extinction and the emptiness, the same as the grace of the triple gem. This will not become karma. If you use invokements with the mind, it's karma as usual. With verbal, it's karma as usual. All the practice as worshipping, there is no need to do that. It's karma. Just like worshipping something that is not karma. All practicing is karma. No need to use practice as a worship, because the practice itself is karma. You cannot use karma to worship that which is not karma. That will bounce back to those practitioners. Fixation onwards, further and further. Therefore, let there be alignment with the grace of the triple gem truly. Non-attachment to the non-attachment itself with everything. With everything, disengagement is on its own. With everything, the give up is on its own. The letting go is on its own with everything. Let's not be obsessed to fabricate behaviors to involve here. Use this way. No need to make them understand from our beings. Bless beings without them to be conscious with it. Use this essence. Later on, the words will help through unwinding and releasing for everything. That's enough. Not to use sila, samadhi, and panya in this way and that way. That is go further. That is like sila has identity in it. Who is it that has sila? Sila has who? That is gone. Ends for this samsara end by the Satyadharma. End within one sentence. All that is given is giving ending within one sentence. Ending sila, samadhi, concentration, contemplation. Nothing is within wisdom, nothing is within sila, nothing is within mindfulness. Then ending is there. Ending samudaya, the overlaying dharma. If there is someone within sila, that is samudaya right there. If there is someone within samadhi, then it's the cause of suffering. Let's end it. Let's end the overlaying of the samudaya over sila. With everything, step back to disengage on its own, giving up on its own, to let go on its own. It's not about letting go of anything. Step back to disengage on its own. It's not about disengaging from anything. Step back to cease on its own, not to try to end anything, to seize anything. Be thorough. To be obsessed with the path to enlightenment in whatever ways. Who is it? What kind of identity is it? It's not about identity or identification. Our Dharma is not an identity. It's already concluded. Ending must be given immediately. Disengage even from itself simultaneously. Non-attachment to non-attachment. No, it's not even know itself altogether. The path to the enlightenment is still samsara. It's just a titi that is formed up by opinions. It is samsara. Don't create it. Just end it. End it. And then end accordingly, not to proceed forward like that. End it, not to practice. Listen again to the essential code. Disengage on its own. There is no need to practice. Then ending, the ending itself, this the ceasing itself. all the karma overlaying body and mind and dharma, karma overlaying belief values and opinions, karma that is overlaying with everything, may it be released. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. The practice is the samudaya, is the desire, delusion, and delusive attachment that overlaying dharma. That is not leading towards ending, but it's gonna arising forward more and more. With everything, put down the putting down itself, letting go on its own. Don't try to put down anything, put down the putting down itself. Let go of the letting go itself. Instead, disengage on its own, non-attachment is on its own. With everything, no grasping is on its own, child. Disengaging from itself, then is ending. Disengaging thoroughly is not proceeding towards the path to the enlightenment. Step back, disengaging on its own, cut through the cutting itself, step back to let go of the letting go itself. With everything, don't let go of anything. With everything, cut through itself instead of cutting anything. Otherwise, you're gonna waste your time in your ordination. Stillness cannot work, cannot be used. Step back to disengage on its own. Remind yourself with this sentence, with everything. Step back to discard the discarding itself, to give up the giving up itself with everything. This is not to practice further and further. It is samsara. You have to put down the present. Put down the present. The present doesn't grasp for the present itself. Put down the present itself. Use the discarding itself. Let go of the letting go itself.